What's going on, my YouTube people? How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing great as usual. Thank you so much for all your support as always, guys. You guys are the best. I can't say nothing more. Um, but guys, I don't want to be too long this video. I do have some stuff to definitely talk about with these two TVs. We have the 77-inch LG G4 on the left, like I usually do, and we have the 77-inch Samsung S90D. So just to pull the menu up so you guys know, you can clearly tell by the menu system which TV is which if you have been following these TVs and kind of know what the menus look like. And then, of course, pulling up the LG, we have the game optimizer menu right here for the LG. As you guys clearly know, that is definitely LG's game optimizer menu. But guys, let me tell you something. I've been really, uh, let's just say to the least, just really spending a lot of time with the S90D, particularly in gaming in HDR. And let me tell you guys something, man. It is something that definitely spoils you, that QD OLED technology. It's definitely something that you just can't get enough of. It is a newer technology. It is moving forward technology. It is next level, change the game technology when it comes to color, color brightness, just the vibrancy. And the fact that Samsung has really worked its tone mapping and has it so much more refined than it ever has before, paired with that QD OLED technology, definitely gives it a very nice, clean, super clean experience. I mean, I have the S90D here, so I can only imagine how all of you S95D owners feel because that TV gets brighter and more colorful. And I can tell you guys with my own personal experience, it is like definitely a joy to have. And because you save that extra money, makes you appreciate it even more because of the value, the sheer value of the TV. Yes, it cannot get as bright or as vibrant, of course, as its flagship brother, which is the S95D, the big brother there. But at the same time, though, I mean, when you have the TV at home, you definitely tend to like it. Now, what I will say is this: um, I do wish, or I rather have had initially or spent the money on the S95D, but there's not full regret because it has that matte finish. But what my point is that if you're somebody like me who follows these TVs or other huge TV enthusiasts, people out there that just love TVs, and let's just say, for example, you purchased last year's S95C. You've had brighter TVs before um, in either OLEDs or any flagship TV. Let's just say that, regardless of whatever the technology is, um, you will miss the brightness. I will say that. That's probably my biggest thing is, or what I miss the most about, let's say, the last Q. I just like the fact that it was just brighter. Like the S95C, I don't have the measurements. I'm pretty sure I can Google them, but it did have more color. It did have more brightness than the S90D. So my point is that that is something you will miss. But other than that, the S90D is just like, oh my God, it's like because you save that money, you care less about the fact that it's brighter. So, for example, like let's say you've never had a QD OLED, you're just fresh in the market, you have a 5-year-old or older TV, and you're really looking to upgrade or maybe add a TV to your home. Let's say you never had QD OLED technology before. You're going to absolutely be blown away by the S90D. It's going to be something like you've never seen before. It's going to be a great experience, and you're going to feel better because you saved that money uh, considering either the S95D or the S90D or any other TV, it has the value that provides more than enough to justify its price. It's just like one of those TVs that give you more than what you pay for overall in your experience. So my other thing is when I compare it to the, let's say, a WOLED, which is the latest TV, my flagship TV here on the left, the 77-inch G4, LG G4. You know, you do definitely still notice some minor differences. I do still feel that the LG definitely has the smoother motion in gaming, less artifacts. It just definitely can handle fast movement better and smoother. No matter what you do, and it doesn't natively. So, like, you don't have to get into the settings to try to make the motion better. It just does it on its own, which I love about that because that's less work for me that I have to do with my TV settings to get it to where I want it to be motion wise. Um, yeah, I play around with it here and there just to kind of feel it out and see what it does. But honestly, out the box, the motion in SDR and HDR just it's just borderline to me, in my personal opinion, as good as it can possibly get. I mean, I've had a lot of TVs before. I really like the motion on the Sony A95L. I feel like the motion on the LG G4 is like slightly a hairline better. That's how much I like the motion on the LG G4. That, when you're gaming, definitely gives you a little bit more of a better experience. But I would say overall, like when you're playing a role playing game, which I'm going to show you as an example here, Black Myth Wukong, great game. I haven't actually personally played it yet, but all the reviews just make me want to play it. So I know it's a great game, and I know it has amazing graphics, crazy motion. It's and really beautiful theatrics and cutscenes and things like that. So, but my point is that when you're playing video games, especially 4K HDR, you will certainly notice little things like that if you're a big gamer. When you're playing casually, you don't notice it as much, and that's when you really start to think, damn, I really might like the S90D better than the G4 as a gaming TV because it has like that better color. It definitely, in again, my personal opinion, has better highlight placement or tone mapping. I just think it's used, the algorithm in the Samsung definitely is better than LG. I've always had a problem with LG's tone mapping. Um, it just, I just kind of feel like it's not as refined or fine tuned as it can be. Again, personal opinion there. I just feel like they really just aim for overall brightness, and then it really takes away from highlight details, which kind of aggravates me because highlight details in video games is what brings the video game out. Like it makes it look better, background, foreground, things like that. So, as far as overall brightness and pop goes, because the G4 gets brighter, it definitely gives you more of that wow factor if you don't like care to notice those things, like highlight details and things like that. But once you really start to know your TV and fine tune it and get every bit of detail you possibly can and just squeeze out each TV, that's when you start to notice what TV is more capable of doing what. And obviously, the G4 definitely has more capability to go from high to low over the S90D. Again, that is just particularly speaking 4K gaming, HDR, tone mapping. When I refer to those matters, it's basically pertaining to that issue right there. Um, I just feel that yes, the G4 can give you overall a more pop if you're when you're not paying attention and kind of give you that wow factor. But then at the same time, when you start getting into the highlight details and things like that, and you start to notice these things, and you have an eye for those things, you will definitely notice where it lacks, and that is in the HDR tone mapping. It just can't handle tone mapping and highlight details better than the Samsung S90D, than my Sony A95L. It just can't do it. It looks more sloppy when HDR tone mapping is on versus HDR tone mapping with you know, the Sony A95L and the S90D. Now, for all of you who put it in professional tone mapping, it still can get iffy there. Like I've done it myself. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes I just feel like there's a lot of games that are kind of rendered or created differently. So the tone mapping algorithm within the game is sometimes hard to like match up with your TV. So when you are in the settings and you're trying to set it, it's almost like you don't even really see a difference. And that's just my personal experience when you put your tone mapping on and try to lock it in, so it can squeeze more highlight detail out. But what happens is it just automatically, no matter what, it just knocks the brightness down, and you don't get that wow factor anymore. So there's no like happy medium, which I wish LG can just kind of come up with within their HDR tone mapping or dynamic tone mapping when that's on. I wish they just made some tweaks where it can just be, more refined, and the highlight placement is where it needs to be. That if LG just kind of knocked that down with their new processor, I'm pretty sure they can. I'm telling you, they would knock it out the park. I mean, yeah, the color's not as good as a QD OLED, but it has like that crispier, clear. It can bring out fine details better. And I just wish that if they, refined that HDR tone mapping, it'll just pull those details out even more. It'll just look even more sharper and more clear and more 3D than it already does. As we know, LG has been masters of making an image just have that 3D effect that just pops out of the screen no matter what you're playing, whether the color is not as good as a QD OLED or not. It just doesn't matter. It still has that 3D effect. But I do feel like with the S90D, once you set it right, it really can bring that 3D effect out very, very competitively with the G4, and it's a lot less money. But anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit play, and we're just gonna literally just watch the cutscene. I will say, full disclosure, guys, it looks more pink than it really does look in real life. So please ignore that. They definitely look closer to what the LG G4 looks when it comes to that pink tint. And honestly, they're a lot closer than it looks on camera, all right? But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and hit play, and we're just gonna let this roll. And you guys can just basically see for yourself, come up with your own opinions at the end. I'm not even gonna really talk too much after that, and just go from there. I'll tell you guys like little things that I noticed too while we watch this. Just for the record, guys, this is my very, 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 very first time seeing this full video of this introductory. I haven't even played the game yet. I did play like a minute to make sure that it was working properly, but I barely was paying attention. And I even then still saw some beautiful differences between these two TVs for like those split seconds. But all right, so now I'm gonna bring this down. All right, guys, sorry about that. It gets out of focus, so I changed the ISO. And then we're gonna go ahead and hit play. But let me just tell you guys right now, again, even though the LG G4 is brighter, the S90D is keeping right up there. And at the same time, the highlight placement, it looks better on the S90D, and it does look sharper around the edges over the G4. The G4 for some, it just still has more of a 3D pop. It's like the character looks bigger inside the screen in the LG G4 more than it does in the S90D. Like it looks more realistic than the S90D. And that has a lot to do with that processing, that new A11 processor. But we're going to go ahead and hit play. As you can see, it says new journey. And another thing that I do notice too is the motion, whether it's slow panning, vertical, horizontal, doesn't matter, fast motion. Like I said before, the LG G4 is definitely smoother. It definitely gives you a better experience. Whether you care for that when you're a gamer is up to you. But I will say, in a movie, we all love movies pretty equally, regardless. You will definitely probably notice it a little bit more when you're watching a movie over when you're playing a video game. And as you can see, man, this game looks ridiculously crazy. I know you guys probably all seen this a million times for all you gamers out there, but this actually was part of a trailer back even a few couple years ago, I believe, for this game. And I think this is the original part of the trailer, at least. I don't really know too much about this game at all. The creators I don't even know that much about, but the reviews look awesome and the game looks amazing. I've been watching it on YouTube and I was just like, all right, you guys got me. I have to get it. But look how good it looks. So like right here, I noticed the S90D looks sharper in this scene right here. But again, the G4 definitely looks more 3D. And another thing I notice is I don't know what the creator's intent is, but sometimes I feel like skin tones on a QD OLED always look a little bit more orangey pink, and I feel like that's the situation on this right here. Um, it just kind of looks like if you want the more natural look, then go with the G4. If you don't care about that and you like color, then you would go with the S90D. And I do have my settings put in place, my personal settings put in place on both these TVs right now. So you can probably set your TVs up as you prefer it. But what I did try to do was when I noticed how QD OLEDs kind of have like light skinned skin tones look. I try to, tune my settings so it doesn't look like that as much. Um, and I even turn color down, color booster off sometimes, and it still has that look to it. So I feel like that's because it's QD OLED, and every technology definitely has its pros and cons, and that might be a slight con in my opinion. But I'm more when it comes to skin tones particularly, I'd rather go the more natural route. But when it comes to like movies and stuff, I'd rather go the crazy color route like Avatar or something like that. It's like two completely different things that I wish I could make a perfect movie of. But again, more fine detail definitely in the G4. I mean, that right there, that emblem on his chest, that gold emblem just looked amazing, like on both, but the G4 definitely just popped out. But see, this is where the highlight placement drives me crazy because like it just like brightens the TV just to brighten it without placing the highlight where it should be. And I just feel like the LG G4 in scenes like this, like bright scenes, kind of mess it all. You start to lose details in the background, things like that. It doesn't hold it as well. You don't see the highlights as well behind the clouds versus a TV like the S90D, where, yeah, it may not be as bright, but it definitely can handle highlight placement better and background looks better. Um, but right now, they look equally as sharp. Like there's not one that looks any different than the other. And then right here, just to me, it looks like the S90D has a sharper look to it, just a more clear look when there's like gold and like shining, like the reflections look better on the S90D. It looks sharper again on the S90D. The motion start, it just looks good on both right now. There are times though where you can definitely see the S90D's motion lack a little bit. You know, it doesn't do it all the time. There's just certain, for some reason, times where it just doesn't handle it. So that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, I'm just looking around now. What do you guys think? You know, would you rather save the money and go with pretty much the best of the best? And for a lot of people, they consider it the best. Or would you rather, you know, spend the money and really squeeze out those fine details more, you know, things like that, and say, you know what, I love my gaming, but, um, you know, I rather, you know, I rather, you know, sacrifice the colors and things like that because I do want more detail and better motion. You know, that's something that you might consider there. I don't know. I mean, it's totally up to you. Like everyone's different. I do have the privilege and the honor to share my personal experience with you guys because I have both TVs. Um, so I just kind of try to like share my experience and just let you guys know what I notice. So I hope that it has some kind of volume in what your opinion is because at least you can see it from somebody else's perspective that has the two TVs. But that's all I can really give. I'm not a professional. I am not. I don't ever claim to be. I just love these two TVs. I love all TVs. I love all, and I just feel like if you're gonna have a TV in your home, you should do your best to try to, save money to just have that experience, because you will never want to leave your house, and it helps you stay out of trouble. But anyways, so all right, guys, it was really nice talking about this stuff with you guys. Please leave your comments. Let me know what you think. I would like to really hear you guys out and, just share your experience if you have these TVs or if you're shopping for these TVs, what is important to you, what you're looking for. It's nice to, leave something in the comments. You got a lot of people who will definitely help you out in my comments because they are very familiar with these TVs. Even if they don't own them, they just kind of live on them through YouTube. And everybody's super, super helpful. Yes, there are going to be people who have strong opinions, but guys, it's all for the love. That's what my channel's all about. And I definitely appreciate every single one of you guys, man. So love you guys. Again, please leave a comment and a like, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.